here. Well, thank you for coming on my show and appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. Yes, I've
You're
been
very
watching some
welcome.
nice interviews you've been doing.
Well, thank you. So I can tell you, like I said, I've been watching your work and you did some recent films, like so many lists. I'm being honest, but you have the Alien Vampire, and then you have the Atheist Guide to Afterlife. Let's make a movie. You know, when your body is dying. The list goes on and on and on. And I can tell you worked with some famous actors, and congratulations again.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. So,
Yeah, and most recently some other exciting news, but it's not yet hit the IMDb. So
right. So, what attracted you to begin your acting career?
Oh, that's a great question. So I was pretty young when I knew that I wanted to be an actress. When I was a kid, I think it was a great way to escape. I thought it would be really just fun to be other people. And I remember just watching, TV shows and thinking, that's what I want to do. That's absolutely what I want to
Mhm.
do. So, yeah, I knew, I think from an early age that like that it just sounded so fun to uh, I guess portray other people. And every time I'd watch a story, I just was so engrossed in it and stuff. So between reading and movies, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to do this. But it wasn't a thing in my family. So
Right. I
so it
totally.
was like, you want to do what? My mom was super supportive because she wanted to be an actress when she was young. She's French, and but it wasn't done in her time. So she was excited, but my dad was like, you want to do what?
So you really didn't have how do you say it, the full support from your father.
No, yeah, that was a toughie, because yeah, no support. He didn't know what it was. He didn't know, that he was like, how do you make a living from doing that? And can't you just, go to school for something else?
Mhm. So if
So
you could,
yeah, but luckily one side of the family was at least supportive because I know a lot of people don't have that support either. So
that's
at
true.
least that was, yeah.
So if you could go back in time, would you go back and do something different? And would you your
No,
father and do something
no, it's
different?
funny. I would not have. The only thing I probably would have said to myself is just stick with it and don't drift,
Mhm.
because when I was younger, I tended to drift a little bit. It was like, oh, maybe I should do some traveling, which is great. And traveling is super important. And I would, tell my kids now, definitely travel and see the world. But I would have said also just stay focused, because when I was
Mhm.
young and things were starting to pop for me, I went to Europe and I had an agent say, that's fine, but just go for 2 weeks. And then I need to continue this. And I thought, oh no, I don't, I don't want to do that. So I just didn't listen. And then, that wasn't a smart move. So then I had to, start from scratch later. So yeah, I would have definitely done the same thing, but I would have stayed focused.
Right. Amazing. Now, are you working on any current projects other than the one I mentioned?
Yes. So, really exciting news just happened. The journey started in May, excitedly enough, with and this business is so funny. So, I got in the business when I was young. I did the after school special, which was my first big break. And then, did a couple of TV shows, and then took time off, and then, did all I did some horror films in Connecticut, and then, raised the kids. But anyways, basically 4 years ago, I started back up doing these films that you mentioned. And one of my biggest goals was, I got to get back on TV. I got to get back. But it's not as easy. They're like, okay, well, you have some film credits, so let's audition you for film, but TV, I don't see anything recent. So I've been going at it, and I ended up submitting a self-tape, which, thought, well, that's great. And it was for a show shooting out in Hawaii, Doogie Kamealoha MD, which is a reboot of the Doogie Howser
Right.
show, but with a female in the lead, and it shoots in Hawaii, which was interesting. So ended up booking what I thought was just a really great co-star, just a good beady co-star for one episode. And I was blessed enough to be recurring, and I was there a total of 5 times, 4 episodes, and I was just in their season finale, which just wrapped up. And so now we keep our fingers and toes crossed for it to get released soon, and for there to be a season 3. But that was really exciting. So
Congratulations.
thank you,
So
thank
I'm
you,
so proud of you. Um,
thank you.
what is your greatest strength as being an actress?
Oh, and as an actress, well, I think personally, definitely sticking to it and not giving up, because in this industry, you have to have, you just can't give up. I mean, there's going to be times when it's slow and you definitely just, you want to give up. You just want to be like, it's not working. I'm spitting all these tapes and it's not working. So I think on a personal level as an actress, definitely the strength of that. And I think in my acting, I think the definitely the ability to do comedy and drama, and
Mhm.
to play the straight man in both, in both, and the empathy. I think as I used to beat myself up for giving it up earlier, but I think we grow and we learn and we gain life experiences. And I'm sorry, that's my dogs. Um, and so I think now bringing those life experiences to my acting.
That's awesome. And it's okay. What is the most challenging role you ever taken so far?
Oh wow, yeah, that's such great questions you have. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's a really good one. Um, for different reasons, I would say, um, oh gosh, that's a hard one. So this last one was challenging,
Hmm.
Dugi Kamealoa MD, because it was, it's a Disney show, and there was a lot of pressure felt by me, not by anybody else, to make that role my own, and not let any outside influences affect it. So I think that was a challenge, but definitely some of the films I've done, just getting into that that dark place, of, like, I've done a lot of darker films, and so it's like getting into that space, but then releasing it once you're, because
Hmm.
obviously you don't want to stay in that dark
Right,
space.
releasing it.
So yeah, so releasing that energy and letting it go, but then engrossing yourself completely in it when
Right.
you're in it, and just
Got
because there's a lot going on when you're shooting something. There's crew here and makeup artists here, and lots of people. So just staying completely focused, I think, is definitely the
Oh,
challenge there.
wow. I totally
Yeah,
understand. Now, this is a
yeah.
follow-up, and you probably answered it, but I'll ask you anyways. Provide an example on time when you had to overcome more challenging on set.
More challenges on set.
You probably already answered that, but maybe.
Yeah. I think, like, some of the smaller budget films um, can be challenging too, because they don't have the budget to. So you
Mhm.
definitely have to stay focused. There's not as many people, but then at the same thing with the Disney project, just staying focused in that space where there's all these producers. Especially the first episode I did, it was episode 201, and it's the first episode of season 2. So a lot of producers, a lot of executives there, and just tuning all that out, and just it's you and me in that scene, whoever I'm working
Right,
with. So
right,
yeah,
right. I totally understand. Now,
yeah,
what is your greatest strength as an actress? I think I already asked you that, but
yeah.
what else, where do you, what I mean by that, what else do you think you could do? Do you think you see yourself succeeding another, like if someone gave you a different role that you're not comfortable, do you think you can strengthen, you feel strong and you're like, I can do this, or do you?
Yeah, I love the challenges of doing roles where I
Hmm.
think, oh my goodness, that's not me at all, because I think in a funny way we find a little bit of ourselves in each role. So I think I love the challenges. I'd love to uh, I would love the challenge of definitely being in a series regularly, doing bringing that character to life more
Hmm.
and letting all the colors flow,
Right.
as opposed to just doing one episode here, one episode there, which is great and wonderful and blessed to do it. But if you could, basically embrace it and get into the meteor part, that would be nice and challenging. Yeah,
That's what I meant, challenge. I meant,
yeah,
no, I'm
yeah,
sorry. I should have
yeah.
rephrased the question better. I
Oh
apologize.
no, yeah, I know what
Um,
you're saying.
what role, or if any, deeply affected you personally, perhaps changed you in a permanent manner?
Oh my goodness, all these good questions. Um, I did a film where, and you were just talking about it, and I played it was after a shooting, a mass shooting, and I played a neighbor mom, that's comforting, the mom that this affected, and basically her husband and her kids were killed in a mass shooting. So I think that obviously,
Right.
especially as a parent and well, as a human being, watching these things on the news, and just it's a scary world we live in these days, and hoping, obviously nobody ever wants to
No,
be in that
it
situation. So
is,
that definitely affected, yeah, me.
yeah,
I mean,
it is, it's
there were
a,
some real tears that were happening there
no, no,
because
no,
her face,
I totally
yeah,
understand because
yeah,
part of me, it is a very I mean, topic, but it's important
yes,
to talk about it. You know,
yeah,
you hope that you can share the stories from victims and their lives.
yes,
And I think, I shouldn't say I think, pardon me, but it's just, it's in my mind, I am a very open, passionate person.
yes, I am
Very,
too, I am too,
that's
yes,
why it's very important to, show this, what is going.
yes. Sorry about that, I just
No,
had to
it's
take
okay.
that off. Okay.
What is
Yeah,
going
so you
on?
understand. You understand.
Hmm.
It affects us all, right? And it's become so much more sadly commonplace, unfortunately. So I
Yeah, I
hate to say
totally,
that.
yeah.
Hopefully things will change, and that won't be
Yeah,
the
that
way.
is, 100%, 100%, I totally agree. Now,
Yeah,
mm, if you could work or meet any famous actor or actress, I know you work with some, but
yeah.
could it, well, correction, who or which actor or actress is your dream to work with on set?
As a small child, watching, or as an adult too, watching Meryl Streep. I mean, she's
Yes.
absolutely amazing. I mean, yeah, I remember early on, watching, and I don't even remember what movie it was, but being in a movie theater watching her and just thinking, oh my goodness, this woman can transform herself to anybody. So, and believably, and so I would love, obviously, to meet her, as she's definitely an idol of mine. Yeah. So I would
That's
say Meryl
awesome.
Streep. Um, I love the humanitarian work and the acting work of Angelina Jolie, so that would be another one. But yeah, I think if I could pick one, it would definitely be Meryl Streep.
Same here. I totally agree with
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
What is your favorite memory on set so far?
Oh, gosh, such great questions. Um, it's funny because this last experience was absolutely delightful, and then every project I do, I feel like I have so much fun and get so engrossed and get to work with so many creative people. But I also think probably my very first, just Tipsy Honey, the ABC After School special, because it was my first big project. I had done theater before and love theater, and but this was my very first, and I just remember the euphoria and the utter like amazement of being on a big set, and just all the sights and the memories of that. So I would say that one, because it was my first big
Awesome.
project, so yeah.
That's amazing, amazing. Do you have any funny or interesting stories on time on set or behind the scenes?
um yeah, I have, it's behind the scenes, so I I was auditioning for a commercial, and I was supposed to be. It was the role of a waitress. I have never personally played a waitress, even though lots of actors have. And we were in the room. It was still when you're in the room. A lot of things are self tapes these days. And the director's like, "Okay, great. I'm loving what you're doing, but you need to pick up these plates over here, and you just need to drop them." And I'm like, okay. And so I had no idea that dropping it is a waitress term. So I grab the plates and I say my lines and I rush over and I drop the plates and all the plates fall on the floor and break. And the director's looking at me and he says, "Jackie, what happened?" And I was like, um, I I dropped the plates, and he said, "Oh my goodness, that's a term in waitress term." It just means set them down. And he's like, "Obviously, you've never been a waitress." And I said, "No." And I, funny enough, didn't get that role. But it is a funny tale to tell. And so, yeah, one of my best friends still cracks up about that story. So,
That's
yeah.
so interesting. I bet the director still this day probably laughs about it. Laughs about it.
Yes, he probably does. Because I don't know what they did. I guess they had to go get some more plates after my audition. So yeah, needless to say, I learned something about waitering that day as well.
Wow, if someone told me drop the plates, that's what I thought.
See? Okay, thank you. Because I felt so foolish. And I was like, I have no idea that this was a thing. So yes.
I've never worked in a restaurant before.
Yes, me neither. Me neither. So I guess we
Yeah,
live and learn, but that was, yeah, pretty funny.
that's
And
true.
yeah, I would have to say that one. And then years back, there was also I was doing one of those CD workshops, and it was with the casting director of General Hospital back in the day. It was Marvin Page. And I was just a youngin and was feeling very uncomfortable and was up there, and I thought the casting director was asking me if I was single. And so I was like, well, that's a strange question to ask me. But I was like, yes, I am. And in fact, he was asking me if I sing. And his next question was like, well, great. Where do you sing from? And where do you sing at? And of course, I was completely embarrassed and realizing he asked a completely different question. And so that was hysterical. Now I look back now and I think that was pretty funny. So
Wow,
yeah, so
wow.
those, I would have to say, those two are pretty much my funny moments.
That's amazing. Is there something we should know about you? Any hidden talents other than we know you can sing, but
Yeah, yeah. You
um,
never want to hear me sing. Probably that's one of them. I started in theater, so I love the stage, and
mhm.
I love improv, and so that's definitely something that I guess surprises people. They're like, "Oh, you're comfortable, with improv," and I was like, "Oh, absolutely." I mean, one of the things that I'd love to do, like a Curb Your Enthusiasm, because I think how exciting and fun would that be to just kind of, here's a concept, run with it. So I think
Right.
that would definitely be a surprise for some people. So
Wow, awesome. Um, so without giving anything away, what is your favorite line dialogue so far?
oh, I would love to tell you one, but I can't. I'm not allowed to, unfortunately,
Okay,
give it out because,
we'll get
yeah.
back to it in the future when I have you back.
Yes. Oh, yes. Once it airs, I would love to come back to you because
Yes, so
there's a couple of
definitely
hysterical lines, but one of them was so funny that it became like this thing. So
I
yes,
understand
I'll
I
have to come back.
understand you
Yeah.
can't say it, but when I have you back, you're
Yes.
gonna
Yes.
say it. So that's a question. Besides yourself, which actor in this production is going to blow people away, if you're allowed to say it?
um, um, See, the show's already been on for a season, so
Mhm.
so season one has already aired, and so I think I can say definitely there is a very talented cast, and so I would say the core group is amazing, and they've definitely brought on some amazing,
Right, right.
co-stars
And you don't have to
and
say their
stuff.
name, I
But
understand. So,
yes, yes, but I would say the series regulars, from Peyton on to, the mom and dad and the siblings. Like I would say everybody's really, really
That's
talented
awesome.
on
And we're
this show. And in
and
fact,
if
if
you
you
mind me
haven't seen Dugi
asking,
Kamealoa MD, you have to catch it. It's
I
Disney
will.
Plus. Yeah, it's
Yes.
on Disney Plus. Yeah, and it's streaming now. So yeah.
Okay. And also, where I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But where was it?
Oh no. Where was it filmed?
Yes.
It was filmed in Hawaii. Isn't that
Oh yeah, you
exciting?
did tell me that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. So I got to go on location in Hawaii, one of the most beautiful
Yes.
places. So that was really, really nice.
Right. I
Yeah,
told that's
Oahu.
awesome. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you're allowed to answer this as well, but who is the funniest person in cast so far in real life that you met?
One of the funniest people. Well, just recently, I would say Ronnie Chang. He's on Dugi Kamealoa, and he's a comedian, and he has some Netflix specials, and he's a hoot. I mean, he's super funny. In fact, he's on. I want to say, is he on the what is it? Is he on the morning show? I want to say he's on the morning show. Yeah,
Okay,
and I mean, he's just very, very funny. And
that's
most, you
awesome.
could just Google his work. He does stand
I
ups. He's
will.
hilarious. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you see yourself in 5?
Hopefully, I would love to be in a dramedy as a series regular. Because I love the combination of getting to make to have people laugh in parts, but also the drama of like touching
Hmm.
people in the deeper moments. So yeah, if I could just wave a magic wand, I think that would yeah, a series regular in a dramedy would definitely be my goal.
That's awesome. Now, if you were a producer or director and you had no budget, what is your ideal dream movie or TV show you would like to make?
Oh my goodness. That's quite the question. So, if I had no budget
Hmm.
and I wanted to make my own show
Or a
or a remake of a
movie?
show, um, that's hard because of the no budget part. But um, Three's Company. Do you remember that show? I for some reason that would be really fun, and you could probably do it on a smaller budget in somebody's apartment if you had the right actors that would be willing to work on a no budget. Of course, you'd have to get a very talented cast because can we remake that show? It was so funny and so hilarious. So yeah, you need a very talented cast, but maybe make it on a lower budget if the actors were willing to. Great questions you asked. My goodness.
Now, follow up. If if you could make a movie with a budget or with no budget, what are the top 4 actors you would like to have in your show or movie?
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a really tough one. Um, because I'm terrible. I should be watching more things, but I have 3 kids and I don't watch enough. But let's see. Well, I would definitely love Meryl Streep, obviously, to be in my film. Let's throw in Angelina Jolie. Gosh, I love Johnny Depp's acting, so I'd have to throw him in there.
Somehow I
And
see that coming from you.
I like, yes, I just love his acting. You knew that, huh?
I kind of think I was going to see that coming.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. So there's 3, but oh gosh. Um, I know I'm probably thinking I could probably think of someone else, but I'm just like blanking here. Gosh. I can't think of it right
An
now.
actor,
It's
it
not
could
funny.
be.
I'm blanking. I'm
It doesn't
totally
have to
blanking.
be. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be an actor. It could be a former talk show host, a
Oh.
music person. It could be a model
Yeah.
director.
Um, That's so funny because when you said talk show host, I'm like, wouldn't that be funny to have like Ellen in there? Just to
Oh
throw Ellen
yes.
DeGeneres in the mix. Wouldn't that
Did
be
you know,
fun?
I am, I'm a talk show host, but I'm the biggest fan of Ellen DeGeneres.
I love her. I
I
love
love
her
her
too.
so
She's so
much.
funny. She cracks me up
Um,
whenever I see her work. Yes.
yeah, and by the way, I know this is you are having her sister follow you on Instagram.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's her sister-in-law. Yes,
And
yes.
how did that happen? Please explain.
Oh, that's so funny. So, a friend of a friend referred me to her and said, "Hey, Joanna Joanna DeGeneres does headshots, and I think you would really like her work." And I was like, "Wow, Ellen!" And I thought the same thing. I'm like, "Ellen's sister," and it ended up when I spoke to her, she's her sister-in-law. So I thought that was really funny. So I ended up looking at her work and absolutely loving. I mean, she has like amazing work. And so,
She does.
yeah, like amazing headshots. And funny enough, she was the first professional headshot photographer I went to when I came
Mhm.
back 4 years ago. And we had a wonderful, wonderful shoot. And she's an amazing lady herself. And so it was fantastic. Yeah. So that's so funny though, isn't it? It's
Yeah, I check out her work on her Instagram,
yeah,
and it's amazing.
beautiful,
She
isn't it?
does, yeah,
Yeah.
how she
Yeah.
poses people, how she does
Yes,
everything.
yes. And
And it's
she just
just,
has such a great eye. I mean,
yeah,
yeah, it's
it
amazing.
was
Yeah.
amazing. So it's like,
Yes,
and
yes.
she posts a lot, and I look at
Yes. And she's
mind
great.
blown.
She's a really lovely person too.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
I imagine, of course, Alan Jeanette,
Yeah, yes,
I have
yes,
to say
exactly.
sister, but it's
I
not really
know,
sister.
I know. I know. And then she gets to see Ellen and laugh all the time because
Right,
it's
right.
funny because I'm watching movies now with my kids. And so it's like,
You
it's
know,
like
you
Ellen's
know,
voice, is the thing.
if I could scare somebody in real life, I would love to try to scare Ellen DeGeneres. You
That
know,
would be pretty funny.
it may not work because I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
people
could she be
tried,
scared? That would be
but I
could you
don't.
get her?
The thing is, I wouldn't mind because it'd be like I like boo, and she doesn't dumb, and I'm like but she'll get you back. She's like
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, that would be hilarious. I'd like to see that actually.
definitely, and it's like I would ask you this question too, but if you were locked in a room, what four people you would like to have with you?
Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you mine. Me
Yes.
is Alan Daenerys, um, Tom Cruise, Kevin Hart, and Dwayne Johnson.
Oh, I love Dwayne Johnson.
Now, I can
Yes.
see Kevin Hart and I getting along. We'll be like
Gosh, Kevin Hart would be so hilarious. Oh my gosh.
knowing
And The
Kevin
Rock, I
Hart,
mean, come on.
knowing Kevin.
I might just steal yours because I mean, I would obviously love to have my family if I'm, but just adding these funny, I mean, if
No,
adding a couple of family members and The
because it'd
Rock and
be
all and Kevin Hart. I mean, because if you have to be locked in a room, at least be locked up laughing, right?
right, and we won't be as we if we had to find clues, it'll be impossible because we all be laughing and we couldn't be
Yeah.
like I'd be like this. I give up. You got
Yes, yes, yes. I love that because I mean, life's so serious. You might as well be laughing when you're locked up, right?
yeah, and then
Yeah, I'm gonna steal that from you and a couple of family members. I'll
yeah, that
add.
too. I'd be
Yeah,
the person just sitting there and we're like, well, let me know when you guys figure it out.
I know.
We're all
Yes. Oh, that's
laughing.
so funny. And I would add The Rock into my previous cast too that we were trying to figure
Right,
out who
that's
the fourth.
true. That's true.
And Kevin
100%.
Hart's, yeah, he's so funny. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
But like I said, it's just how we support each other in the entertainment industry because we make
Yeah.
people laugh.
Yes.
Even I, even though I love sister, but I know she's she, how I
Yeah.
have to say sister, but you know, um, it's just like when you look at her picture and you look how she makes models smile and how she makes model poses and how she does things. And
Yes.
example because when you look at people who take pictures of outsides of flowers,
Yes.
buildings, and stuff, and it's like when you see a picture, you pause and it's like, oh wow, that person's smiling. How and you smile. And then when you see a movie or TV show, you make people laugh, make people cry.
I just took
But
a deep breath hearing you say that. Yes, because
but
that's so
but the one
true.
but the one thing I will say is that when you do that, it's like you you um pause and you make people happy, right? And
Yeah.
when people see a TV show or a talk show or a photographer
Hmm.
changing their life, right? And that's why like when you when you hear people's stories, families, and they're like, wow, I've seen your movie, I've seen your TV show, it's changed my life.
Hmm.
When you're like, wow, you impacted them, right?
Yes.
Thing that's very important. So,
Yes.
and that's one thing I will admit, we as entertainment industry, as we support each other,
Hmm.
important because we're talking about story out there, you know. And for me, I'm a very hardcore LGBTQ supporter.
Right.
Have when you have TV shows like The Glee, when you have other stuff out there that's
Yeah.
right, you know
Hmm.
what's going on in people's life in real life, right? And then you hear stories, and you're like, wow, thank you. It changes my family. This is what I'm through, you know.
Isn't that true?
And
And that's
it's
the
true.
wonderful thing about the arts is what would we do without it? Because just
Hmm.
hearing you, it's like you just take a deep breath, and I was just like, ah, yeah, because it changes lives,
Yeah.
and it's funny because when people, some people that don't know or watch things regularly think, oh, the arts, but the arts are so important
Yeah.
because without it, we wouldn't get deeply engrossed in
No.
these things. We
No.
wouldn't feel for people. We wouldn't,
Hmm.
see how other people, live. We wouldn't laugh hysterically.
Like for me, for me is my big motto,
Yeah.
be kind and
Yes. Me too. Me too.
but
That's so funny.
that's my little motto. But
Yeah, that's
be
funny.
kind and smile because you don't know what we're going through.
Yes,
Why it's very
absolutely.
important. Like for me, the Ryoichi's quote is be kind and smile because you don't know what's happening, right?
Yes.
You have when you have that's what's going on in society, it's like
Yeah.
let's pause, let's be kind, let's smile because you don't know
Right.
heck them.
That's funny that you said that. I did a interview a while back, and the interviewer asked me, if I could start a movement, what would
Hmm.
it be? And I thought a kindness movement, because and we're all guilty of it. We all have bad days where we're quick to, judge, or, quick to, come back with a smart answer. But if we could all just, slow it down a bit and maybe step away from the phone, and just be like, let's be kind, because you don't know what that person is going through, and you
Yeah,
don't know, what
never
their
know.
background is, or what just happened, or
Yeah,
so yeah, and to show our kids, more kindness would also be great, because
that is
that would,
100%, hundred
yeah,
percent true because you don't know
yeah.
what the person's going through.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can't walk in their shoes, so we never know,
No,
right?
never
And
know,
even though
never
things
know.
might seem good, especially because we post only the nice things usually on social media, um, it's obviously not that way. So
No,
yeah,
100% no.
we all have our
Uh,
ups and downs and our rough moments
that's
and our
true.
losses, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately,
100%.
we don't get out of this world unscathed, right? So
No.
yeah. We wish we could be in a bubble, but all those things help change us too, help shape
Right.
us. So yeah,
100%. Yeah, I totally agree with you. Be
yeah,
mild. That's
yeah.
everybody. I do sense. Well, thank you for
Thank you.
and I appreciate it you following me on Instagram and being
Oh, of
on my
course.
show. And of course, I am definitely gonna have you back because I
I
hope
would love that.
we, as myself and the audience, we have to find out what your favorite dialogue is.
Yes, yes. In fact, I was just going to say after season 2 drops, I will definitely have to come visit you so I can give you that favorite line and we can
Yes,
converse a
yes.
little more. Because I'm not in season 1, so season 2 I'll be able to give out some of the little tidbit. I adored being on your show. It was so
Thank you
fun. Your
so
questions were
much.
fantastic. So much fun.
Well, thank you
There you
so
go.
much from the bottom of my
Thank
heart.
you.
And I can't wait to have you back on the Ryoichi show.
I can't wait as well. Have a beautiful day and
You
really nice
too.
to
Thank
meet you and
you.
be on your
And
show.
of course, thank you for coming on.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.